YouTube family. My name is Sonia. In this channel, we talk about real estate and financing. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, well, thank you always for watching and tuning in. Please do not forget to like, share, comment, and give it a thumbs up as we always, right? So in today's video, we're going to be continuing from part 1. So today is going to be part 2 of what are some expenses you actually have whenever you're done closing or buying a house or in the process of buying a house, right? So what are some of the expenses you actually have? So today we're going to talk so much about closing costs and some of the items that you're going to see under your closing costs. So the first thing we are talking about today, and this is going to be the first and the last, we're just going to have other things under. So whenever you hear of closing costs, it is whatever you're going to pay. So these come at the end of you've gone through all other processes and now you're ready to go sign those documents, right? So whenever that at that moment or before that, few different things you have to do before you actually go sign that paper or document saying that I am now the owner of the house. So this closing cost has a lot of different simple fees that you're going to actually see in your contract when you're finalizing your home purchase. So under the closing cost, the first thing we're going to be talking about is going to be the loan origination fee. And this might vary from person to person. This might equally vary from mortgage, bank, credit unions, wherever you choose to go get this loan, right? It might vary. So it's not going to be for everybody. And even if it is, it's not going to be the same exact amount. So keep that in mind. So you're going to actually have a loan origination fee. And what is a loan origination fee? This is a loan that covers lenders' administration costs in processing your loan application, right? So yeah, you still have to pay for them to process these loans. Sad as it is, but yeah, everybody has to be paid, right? If I am the lender working on the application, of course I equally want to get paid for doing that thing, for working on your application for you. So that is the first thing you're actually going to have whenever it comes to closing costs. It's going to be the loan origination fee. The second thing you're actually going to pay for is appraisal fee, right? So I talked about appraisal in one of my videos, and yes, I said you are going to pay for it. So yeah, it is again. You're actually going to pay for your appraisal fee, and you actually pay this to the mortgage company. Hopefully I'm correct. So you pay this to the licensed appraiser, but most of the time you have to go through the mortgage company because I think they have something to do with this appraiser personnel, right? So you have to pay this to the appraiser person or the licensed professional, and it is part of the closing cost. So it's different from you doing the inspection before, because of course appraiser is whenever you're ready to buy the house and what is the fair market value. So that's the second fee you're actually going to be paying. The third is going to be the title search and title insurance. And this actually goes to mostly the title company. So it's associated with researching what the property history was and is, or obtaining title insurance and protection against any other person that is going to show up and say, hey, I have a stake in this property after you're done buying, right? So you have to pay that fee to make sure that everything is cleared up. And if they have any history or anybody in that property that is going to come up one day and tell you, I have a stake in this property, they're actually going to let them know and actually tell them, hey, if you have something to talk about this property, you better say it now before you end up buying. So they make sure that you don't have to deal with all other third parties after you're done paying for your house. So it's a good thing to actually pay for this cost, this title search and title insurance, right? So you want to be ensured that the property you're buying is safe. It's yours and yours alone. So the number 4 thing you might pay is attorney fee. And this is if you choose to work with an attorney. It might pertain to you, it might not. But if you choose to work with an attorney, well, you will have to pay, right? And this is mostly real estate attorney. And you'll be responsible for every fee that they charge you. So if you decide to actually go get an attorney to help you in some of the processes, or maybe explaining some of this paperwork that you do not understand, it's okay to do it, but just know that you are responsible for paying it, right? The money is going to come off your pockets. So put that in mind, and it's gonna be part of the expenses you're actually going to be having. So if you decide to get one, then make sure you have money ready available to pay for this attorney fee. The 5th is home inspection. Yeah, I just talked about home inspection, right? So yeah, you're still gonna hire these people. Like I said, it doesn't come really on the closing cost, but this is part of the expenses you will have when you're buying or in the process of buying a house. So even if you end up not even having that home, it's expenses that actually comes off your pocket. So you actually pay for this home inspection. It's just generalized on the closing cost, but for me, it is cost that you're going to incur whenever you start from the beginning to the end. And make sure you keep in mind that when it comes to actually home inspection, you can, no matter what you do, if you end up paying for it and you end up not having that house, you're not going to have your money back. So you can actually don't even get to the process of paying for appraisal fee. But if you see a home and you make a bid on it and then you decide, oh, maybe I like the house and I just want to see, I just want to go get it, and then you pay for inspection and the inspection is done, and after the inspection doesn't come out the way you want, and then you decide not to get that house, then you might not even get into paying for appraisal because you already backed out of the contract before you getting to do the appraisal. So keep in mind that your inspection fee is not refundable. I mean, as far as I know, it might be different from different from other people, but as far as I know, this money they don't give you back. So do your research about it. But from what I've been researching, the inspection fee they don't refund it back. So the other thing could be a survey fee, and this survey fee is just you being able to survey the property, make sure that everything on the property or everything property may be required, like the boundaries, right? And when you talk about encroachment or any other thing, so sometimes you come on a property that you don't know the boundaries of that property. It is not well cleared, or maybe whoever had the house before you, they actually, let's just say a walkthrough. If ever want to buy a house and the house is behind another property, and then there is no way for you to actually get into that house except you pass through the first house. So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you have two houses, one at the front, one at the back, but you have to actually have a walkthrough from the front to the back, then maybe the person at the front actually gave whoever actually owned it before you some excuses, right? Some pardon for them to use their property as a walk. work on the property to get you there. So those are some of the things that might make you do a survey before buying that property, because you actually want to know which one belongs to you. Okay, so this land is mine and not my neighbors, or this is where my boundary is and not my neighbors. So if you end up having to do those kind of surveys for you to actually know the boundary, then you actually have to pay the fee for those things as well. So just keep in mind if you choose to do it. And that's if you don't even know if the boundaries are not well explained in the contract. Okay. So another thing you actually pay is escrow. When we talk about escrow, it's just fees that cover services provided by the escrow company, right? And it could be handled by an attorney during the closing process to make sure that all the funds and documentations are properly managed. So yeah, you actually have to pay for these things. And I think this one is non-negotiable. So just keep in mind that these are some of the expenses. That's a and recording fee. So whenever you buy a house, actually you have of course somebody has to record it, even if you're not there in person. Somebody has to record this thing to make sure that the state or the county where you bought this house, right, they know that the house now belongs to you and not the previous owner. Okay, so make sure you ask all these questions when you're in the process of getting this house. And maybe they'll actually just send you a whole list. I mean, maybe the mortgage company will send you a whole list of what you will actually be paying for. And if you read through this list and you don't understand or have questions, you can ask them the ones that you really don't have to pay and the ones that you need to pay, right? So yeah, but however, whenever you buy a new property, it has to be recorded. So these fees have to be paid. Maybe they don't tell you, they don't explain it to you one after another, but you're always going to have these lists of things whenever they send you all this your maybe the mortgage or give you a pre-approval any something, but these mortgage companies provide you a list of things you could actually see come up on your closing. It's not they don't just show up on the day of closing. They actually just send it to you. Make sure you read these things. And you could equally have to pay for property insurance, right? And make sure you actually get one, especially if you are buying a house, that's your first house, or even if you're not your first house, you're buying that house at that moment. Make sure you pay for property insurance, because guess what? The first year you never know what is going to happen. So you don't just want to get in and then you start having all these issues and then there's nowhere you can turn to. So pay the property insurance and make sure you have coverage, right? And it will protect you and your belongings against any damage. So I mean, there is no need going in there not paying for it and then getting these damages, and the cost of it might be way more, right, at that time than maybe how much you are going to be paying for that property insurance. Prepaid taxes and insurance, that you're never gonna meet. You're never going to meet paying taxes when you buy a new home, even if it's any property that you buy, especially in states that you pay for property taxes. Most states you have to pay for property tax. Most states you pay for taxes on your home. But some states you have different type of property taxes you have to pay. But yes, this is in your closing costs, especially if you're actually getting a mortgage. If you're paying for your house with cash, would you still pay taxes? Yes, you will. You will pay taxes regardless. except you're in a state that doesn't require you to pay taxes on a house. But most you will have to pay taxes. So keep in mind those things are going to come. And sometimes those are all put in your mortgage, so you don't have to be paying it, and you actually see the cost of it though, but it's all in your mortgage. So you're just paying maybe like this whole sum instead of paying different amounts. So it's just all in your mortgage for the year. Like every month you pay your mortgage, you pay for these taxes in advance. But yes, you still end up paying property taxes. And the last thing it could be that you're going to actually pay for, or the last expense could be miscellaneous. This could include carrier fees, credit report, flood certifications, or anything, right? We don't know what is going to come up in your own miscellaneous, but these are some fees that you could be responsible for paying at the end of the day before you end up having that house. So just make sure you read through the documents that they've sent to you, right? And ask questions. That is why if you decide, or if you read and don't understand, and you decide I want an attorney to give me explanations on all these things, that's okay. You can still actually ask the mortgage company to explain all these little all these little fees or expenditures that you're going to be making to you. So just make sure you read and understand, and see the ones that you really want to do, and see the ones that you don't think you really need to pay for. Because at the end of the day, there are some of them that you can decide not to do, like an attorney fee, right? You really don't need, most of the time, you really don't need a real estate attorney. But if you choose to get one, just know that you pay for the fee. So there are some of the things that you can decide not to do and not pay for them. But there are some that you have to. There's no way you can move away from it or step away. You still have to pay for these expenses. So this has brought us to the end of this video. Remember, this was part two of my previous video. And thank you for watching to the end. Please remember, this is just for educational purposes. You have all the rights. You have all the rights, right? You should, I don't know, at any moment do your research, ask your question. Maybe call this real estate agent, maybe the mortgage company you're actually willing to go to. Ask them all your questions. Even if you need an attorney, like I said, you can get one and ask them all your questions, and make sure everything is clarified. Do not just listen to the video and go with it, because of course you still have so much work to do at your end. I don't know what mortgage company you're going to go with. I don't know what you're planning to do, if you're going to buy cash or not. So some of them might apply to you, some of them might not. So just make sure you do your due diligence to do your research and understand each and every one of the points, or understand what is really pertaining to you better before you head on to this process. Again, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the process of buying a house, there is a book. I'm going to leave the link on my description. Just click on it and I request for a copy, and you'll be good to go and educate yourself better. So do not forget to stay safe and hydrated, and stay out of the sun if you really don't have to be there. Okay, thank you, until next time.